Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. Relaxing as per usual. I just got started recording the next series, which is following on from Okami, which will be uploaded starting Wednesday next week. I haven't finished the thumbnail art. I've done the sketch. I haven't done the line art. I don't know. Well, actually, I'm not actually going to do line art because it's a line artless game or art style. So I need to finish that. Maybe I'll do it today, but I also need to record some Talos Principle. I didn't realise I don't have an episode coming out tomorrow. So if you see Okami tomorrow, that's why. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 9:52 p.m. on Thursday, November 14th, 2024. It's actually going to be the finale of Okami, which is like the longest series we've done so far. In terms of episode length, in terms of actual like playtime length, it would 100% be Hollow Knight, I'm pretty sure. Especially because Hollow Knight actually played a lot outside the recordings as well, when it came to what's it called, Godhome, just because the Radiant was that difficult. But yeah, other than that, we're just sort of, we chilling, we relaxing, all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of school, as I always say as my sort of go-to phrase when I'm like, how do I fill in the next sentence with something which kind of rhymes, and that's how, I guess. Oh, theatre curtains as my Neopets weekly prize. How much? I just searched theatre curtains. What's wrong with me? Neopets. No price history. Is this new? $250 million in pure Neo points. Wow. Well, okay. I mean, I guess I might as well get him. Get him. But yeah, what are we going to talk about today? I'm not really sure. The Chaska teaser came out for Genshin Impact. Very rude how heartfelt it was. No, not heartfelt, but how sort of suddenly it pulls on a very sad moment. How it sort of like springs it on you. In a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way, like oh, I can't believe it done that. I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe they did that. It got me off guard. Didn't see it coming. Who could have? But yeah, I don't really know what to talk about today. I need to think of what conversation-y have we got. I backed Root, the Kickstarter, so I will be getting all the modules. I think I said that already, to be fair. When's it arriving? I don't know, to be honest. Probably not for a long while, but I'm hopeful, hopefully, that it will be a good choice. At the very least, unboxing it and sort of seeing all the pieces and then thinking about how the gameplay elements would work together is always definitely the most fun part, which is perhaps weird for me to say, but it's true. Yeah, but what should we talk about today? What's going on in r/games world? I'm not really sure. There's not really much going on, or too much at the moment. I'm just trying to think what's happened recently. But the most recent thing I can think of, which was really random, was as I was just walking down the street, and then there was just like a small group of people there who were basically giving out free samples of like a drink thing. And you might be like, I can't believe you took it. Like, wasn't that shady? It's like, no. Like, they had like a proper stall and everything. It wasn't just people be like, hey, you want to try something? It was them legitimately like giving out their product. And I was like, I've never actually seen this before, so maybe I was a bit too trusting. But they were giving out, honestly, it looked incredibly intense doing so, because they were basically giving out these breakfast sort of drink shakes, kind of. But it was basically just like non-stop, because I mean it was like a busy London street. They basically, like, every single second someone passed by, and they didn't even care like what was going on. They were like, here, have it, here, try this. They said the brand name. I'm not sure how good the advertising was, because I can't remember what the brand name was. Not that I necessarily plug it just like that, not because it was bad or anything, but I'm just like, I mean, it feels a bit weird, right? I know I'm not sponsored or anything, but still, it kind of feels like a bit of a weird thing to do. But they were just like giving out bottle after bottle. It was like intense. There was like two women like on the stand, like with a stall with all their stuff, and just one guy handing out all these bottles continuously. Looked exhausting. I guess they probably did it in like rotation or something. But I was just kind of like, this looks exhausting. Like, can I believe you're here just continuously giving out bottles for the next however long or so. I'm not saying that like you shouldn't necessarily do that or something, just more like that looked like a lot of effort. Anyway, but how was the sample, you might ask? It was okay. Like I didn't find it like bad or anything. It was basically exactly as I described it. It was a like a breakfast smoothie sort of drink, which is meant to be like high in protein and meant to be nutritious. And I was like, hey, I mean, it was also vegan, I believe as well, like completely, the entire thing was vegan, and I was like, that's like impressive. I said this a lot with vegan food, is that like nowadays I feel like I can't, it's not that I can't completely tell the difference between vegan food and non-vegan food, but like I would say perhaps more accurately is to say there's a decent amount of vegan food where I could not tell the difference between what it would taste like normally and vegan like. So really the only thing which, you know, is left is the price of it, as long as it goes down. Which, to be fair, already is. So I guess I don't have much excuse anymore. Is that the vegan food is becoming much harder to distinguish, I suppose. Like this milk, or maybe to my unrefined palate, that's the case. Maybe if you have a more refined palate or awareness of texture, you're like, I can definitely taste the difference. But me, I'm just like, dunno, man. Just kind of all tastes the same to me. But yeah, I just found it very interesting how intense, because I've seen people give out free samples before. You know, I've been to a Costco, but normally that's like, it's a very, at least the Costco's I've been to, it's been a very sort of like refined situation. They have like a little stall set up where they have like little glasses with like whatever drink we're serving, or maybe they've got like a little like bite-sized little containers of like peanuts or something that they want you to try, and then people queue up very nicely. They sort of stand around, and then the person plugs their product, and you sit there, well, you stand there going, you know, maybe I'll pick some up, something like that. But you're really there just to get the free sample. You know, that's how it is. You know it, they know it. There's like an undisclosed rule, because for every 10 people who to do that, one person is going to like legitimately actually buy the product. So that's like my experience with it. This was just intense. There was no stopping, like didn't even get to hear like any selling point of a product. It was just take it and go. And part of me was like, I wonder if I should not drink this, because this was just given to me by a random guy off the street. But I drank it anyway, because I didn't have breakfast actually that day, quite coincidentally. I also remember it was salted caramel flavour, which I thought was quite nice as well. I was like, oh, you know, I quite like salted caramel. Well, it's like, well, I don't hate it, I suppose. So I had it, and I was like, yay, you know, not bad. How was it? I would say it was a very, very watery milkshake is probably how I would describe it. Sort of like liquidated and diluted down. There wasn't that much sort of like, much of a thickness to it. It just kind of was quite watery with... It didn't even taste that much of salted caramel, I'm going to be honest. Like, it had a bit of a caramel flavour. I won't dispute that. Did it have a salted caramel flavour? Maybe not. Kind of much closer just to say it had like a bit of a caramel flavour. Honestly, it kind of tasted mostly like peanuts, I think, from what I recall. It might have been peanut milk, maybe that was why. But yeah, I don't know, just like, it was such an intense way to give out free samples on the street. I guess, again, he kind of had to. It's not like he had much say in the matter. You know, people are passing by, like, what's a more efficient thing to try and, like... I mean, you're in London, like, you're not going to rope in people, and people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually, like, super interested in what you're saying about this drink. Maybe some people will be, but most people aren't. Most people are, you know, trying to get to work. But it's the sort of thing where it's like, it's I can appreciate just the sheer, like, quantity of the sales tactic over quality necessarily, instead of being like one by one, hey, you know, try this, these other benefits. It's like, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. I don't know if I could do that, you know. I don't really think I have salesperson blood within me. I don't think I have that sort of energy. I don't know if I could sell, you know, what's the phrase? sell a something to a something, except it's like something which someone already owns. Like, it will sell a boot to a snake. Is that right? I don't know. Sounds kind of more cowboy-y than I meant. I don't think I have that in me. But this was like, I mean, I guess it didn't really have sales tactics in it. It was just much more aggressively, like, handing things out, which I feel like must be quite draining job to do. I've never had to do it on like on a large scale. I had to do it like here and there for like school things and that, but never like I'm working for a society or like part of a society and I'm like really want to rope people in or that sort of thing, and the only way to do that to be handing out like these flyers or something like that. I never had to do that on like a grand scale, but it must be a very sort of tiring thing in the same way that is tiring for dogs to always like chase a laser and then never catch it. You must feel dejected by the end, because even if you don't care about what you're handing out, it can't feel great to be rejected over and over and over and over and over again with that, right? Most people just sort of be like, sorry, no time, or like they just shake their head, or they just ignore you and walk past. It must not be the greatest feeling, I'd imagine. I can only say this from a sense of sympathy rather than empathy, because again, it's not something I've done before. But I don't know. That guy felt like he was all over it. That guy was like, he's here to give out literally all his entire stock of his breakfast drinks, whose company name I can't remember, and honestly, more power to him. He had it going. He had a system, and it was like about holding 5 or 6 different bottles at once and we just give them out to people, and it worked. So yeah, I don't know what can I say about it, except for it was must have been a lot to keep up with. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it was the easiest thing in the world. Maybe he was like, oh, this is child's play. I love my job. Just doing it. I don't know if would I prefer doing that or just giving out leaflets where it's just like, you had to sell people on things. I think I'd rather do what he was doing. It feels like very formulaic in a sense. Where it's just like, grab, poof, grab, grab, poof, grab, poof. In a good or bad way? I've yet to decide, but it's just sort of like a rather intense way, nonetheless. I don't really know what I was saying, just sort of like giving out free samples. I can say, I think I've talked about this before, but the one and only time that a free sample has actually worked on me, some friends, is back in where I used to live as a child in primary school. Went round to a friend's house, and we did the crazy thing as kids, with permission of his parent, of course, to go down to a local store and buy some food and snacks for lunch or dinner. I can't remember whatever the meal thing was, but it was a very rare thing because I didn't live in a particularly like large town or anything. It was just like a small village. Where there was just a guy outside and he was straight up just giving out like samples of what I can only describe as like a mozzarella sort of ball. It's kind of like a mozzarella stick except for an dough ball. And then he said like warm them up in the microwave, and he gave them out to us with tongs into our bare hands, by the way. So I don't really know what that's all about. But yeah, we did that, and then me and my friend, we were going around like I can't even remember what we're doing. I feel like I bought a packet of crisps, but I don't know if that's true or not. And then we like ate some, and we were like, wow, that's good. And then we were like, oh, can we have like one as we leave as well? And he was like, yeah, he was a nice guy. Of course, sure. It was just some like 6-year-olds or whatever. Not 6-year-olds, I wasn't that young. 8-year-olds showing interest in his product. And then, we ate it on the way back, and we were like, wow, this is so good. I want more of it. And then we actually went back later after asking his mother, being like, for some money. And we're like, can we buy this cheesy dough ball thing that we saw? And she was like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? And then, yeah, we went there. We got another free sample. We bought one. And he gave us another free sample. We came back. We cooked it in the oven, and it was delicious, is what I remember. I mean, it literally was just like bread and cheese. Bread and melted cheese, which is, sort of the shortcut to a lot of kids' hearts, to be honest. Just like carbs and fat rolled up in one delicious package. So unsurprisingly, we found it very delicious, but that's the only time in recent memory where I'm like, oh, those free samples actually sort of ended up working. But again, I don't think I'm a very good target for free samples, because a lot of times, you know, even if I did like it, I wouldn't buy it anyway. I remember recently I went to Costco and I had a free sample of, I can't remember what. It was some sort of vodka which had an interesting flavour, and I was like, huh, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to try it. And I tried it. I didn't buy it. I didn't think it was that bad, but I don't even remember what it was anymore. There was no way it was. And my immediate mind was cherry vodka, but I'm like, cherry vodka's not that weird. So I don't think it was bad. It was something very strange. So I can think, so out of all of this, I can think of one time in history where I can remember, where I can remember a free sample actually working. So, you know, shout out to that one guy. He was giving out free samples of these cheesy dough balls or whatever. Because, you know, he got me and my friend to purchase it. So, he did pretty well. Well, I guess I shouldn't make a judgment on whether he actually did pretty well or not, because maybe he didn't. Maybe he did terribly, to be honest, and that was like his only sale that day. But, you know, he made two kids very happy that day. Full stomachs. So we were like, yum. What was his story? I don't know. Yeah. I don't really know where I was going with this. I'm just trying to think of other times. Anyway, so yeah, if anything, that guy's strategy of just intensely giving out a load of bottles like crazy, quantity over quality, didn't work on me, at least, because I cannot remember what on earth the product was called. I feel like it started with a B, but I'm not sure if that's right. But I thought it was fine, you know. I appreciated the fact that I got like a breakfast out of it. It wasn't poisoned or anything, so certainly that's good. I guess, you know, weirdly enough, if it was just one person giving out a thing and just gave it to me personally, I'd be like, there's no way I'm drinking this. This is poison. But because he gave out like 500, despite the fact it could have easily been poisoning like 500 people or something, I was like, yeah, somehow this is more trustworthy. What I do remember is he was doing it right in front of like the Waitrose, or was it M&S? I think it was M&S actually. Yeah, so I guess it must have been done with the supermarket's agreement, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a guerrilla marketing tactic. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to round this episode off here. Free samples, I guess. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.